Altringham's long unbeaten home record has come to an end this afternoon in controversial circumstances at the J Davidson Stadium. Altrincham 1, Hednesford Town 3, the final score, and we have manager Lee Sinnott. Lee, it was a controversial game right from the word off, and I don't think we're very happy in the dressing room with a lot that's gone on out there.
Well, you're exactly right, Brian. I think it goes without saying the major decisions that were made today have not fallen down in our favour, have they? And from the was it the 8th minute, changed the complexion of the game completely. I mean, if you look at it, we've more or less had to play 90 minutes because if you're thinking about the added time in the first half and at the end of the game, we more or less played 90 minutes with 10 men. So when you get dealt a card like that, is you want to stay in the game as long as possible. So decisions were made to try and keep us in that position, and hopefully, you can contrive an equaliser. But I can't fault my players as they've shown great effort away at Boston last week in responding to the goals that we conceded down there. But I mean, some of the decisions that were going on today were.
Let's talk about the Simon Richmond incident. I'm sure Alty TV is going to reveal exactly what happened. I've spoken to Simon. He said he got the ball. The referee, I think, is talking about undue force. I'm not too sure what that means. What did you make of it?
Where's this saying from, undue force? Is it something off a game or something? Xbox. He's took the ball. He's been positive in the way he's taken the ball. I mean, I'm going to have to look at it like yourself on Alty TV, but from memory. At worst, yeah, you would say, okay, yellow card, just to be a little bit careful, and the game goes on, and it's a good competition between two sides at the top of the table. I must say, Brian, as well, I mean, I've spoken to other people in the press, I just find it a little bit astounding that there wasn't an FA assessor here today. It is a top-of-the-table clash, and if you're going to find out the things that you want to find out about your officials, and are they capable of handling the game at this level so you can progress them onto the next level, I find it a little bit bizarre that there wasn't an assessor here to point the things out to him.
11 minutes gone, we're 1-0 down at home, we've lost a player, things are not going well, but a great reaction, and we had been playing well up until that point as well. Fantastic goal, great ball in by Jake Moulds, and James Walshaw's done ever so well, and really from that point we were back in the game and equal to Hednesford in everything we did.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's a terrible start, isn't it? It's you go a goal down, and that's there's not many things that I'm a little bit annoyed about concerning my team, but that was one. You conceded too early again, and we keep on drilling into our defence and midfield that you've got to start the game brightly and not let people run off you, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, if you probably rewind the Guiseley game, if you think about their goal, it's quite similar to the Guiseley goal that we conceded. So we will have a look at that on the video and and point things out in training. But no, I thought the reactions were very good. I thought we played very well with 10 men for 20 minutes. But let's be honest, I mean, it's a hard thing to do for 90, isn't it? So you are going to have spells in the game. But I thought we asked them quite a few questions. You could tell by their bench they were getting a little bit aerated with their midfield, because I think our boys were like playing between lines, and they weren't really getting picked up, and we were playing the ball around nicely. But in a game of 11 v 11, there's mostly, normally, isn't there, Brian? One side is in the ascendancy and then the other. When you're playing 11 men against 10, well, you're not going to expect the team, unless they're Barcelona with 10 men, to continually be in the ascendancy, are you? And that's why we made changes at half time, like I said, just to keep us in the game as long as possible, and then hopefully something would fall our way, maybe in the last quarter, and we could get level. Because let's face it, playing for 90 minutes, if we'd have drawn that game, it's equivalent to a win, isn't it? Because of who we're playing, and to be fair, it wouldn't be more or less a case of who you're playing anyway. It's a whole game with a man less. So we're disappointed, but we'll dust ourselves off. But I do think that the major instances contrived against us. I mean, for me, there was a blatant push on Carl Perry in the second half in the penalty area, and one of my players has said, well, the referee said yes, I thought it was a push, but it wasn't deliberate. I mean, what can you take out of that? I mean, when I heard that, that's when I called down the corridor to Derek Wilshaw to see if there was an assessor here today, because if the referee has seen it as a push, but he doesn't think it's deliberate, then, well, that's bad interpretation of the rules, because I would expect a penalty against me if that was the case. And not being funny, I've had penalties against me in my career for doing something like that. You don't mean to go into the back of somebody, but you do. It's a free kick, it's a penalty all day long in any league, you know, in the world. But like I said, you know, it's been one of those days. Things have contrived against us, and I'm sure if Rob Smith, the Hednesford manager, was stood here commenting, you know, from the same position as I would, he'd think exactly the same. But you know, you dust yourself off, you get on with it, and it's you know, you go to the next game.
One or two complaints as well about the second and the third goal. I think the way the free kick was taken for the second goal, I'm sure Stuart is disappointed that he's not stopped it anyway, but certainly they've taken it early, and there seems to have been some controversy over that, and possibly a handball for the third.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's you're right. You know, there's definitely controversy over the two goals. The way you've termed it is correct as well. I mean, if you look at Stuart, he's not been allowed to be set, has he? It's going from the referee's whistle as well. So, I mean, funny. Surely the referee's going to have a look and think, well, he's not set anyway, or are we playing a different kind of game? I mean, so that more or less says that you know, the goalkeeper can't line his wall up. But you know, I just thought, yeah, you have to be careful. You know, with the officials, but I'll leave it at that if that's all right, Brian.
I think you're right to be pleased with the effort that the team's put in. I think there's some great performances out there, but I thought the two lads in the centre of midfield, both Greg Wilkinson and Jake Malt, did exceptionally well. Jake was absolutely everywhere and seemed to be playing 2 or 3 different positions. I
can't fault the players in that. You know, the application that they gave. I mean, you could tell they were more or less on the feet, wasn't they? You know, we played some good stuff, but it's going to start to tell, isn't it? Like I mentioned earlier on the interview, Brian, that when you're down to 10 men, as the game goes on, you know, the options aren't there because people start to get a little bit fatigued and tired, and they haven't got as much in the tank. So, you know, for us to stay in the game, I would say for you know, all of the second half, more or less, wasn't it? You know, is full testament to them, and you know, there's no harder position really than the midfield in legwork, is there? Because you are up and down both ends of the field. So yes, you know, it's just a shame that it wasn't 11v11. You know, I think it would have been shown a true reflection of what the game would have been, rather than, you know, down to 10 men with more or less the whole game to go. It's not. I don't think it's a true reflection of the game, in my opinion. And I'd be saying exactly the same if we'd have played against 10 men. So.
And in terms of the league table, despite the fact that we've lost the last 2 games, it's still very, very tight at the top.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Brian, I haven't had a look at the league table. I haven't heard the results because I've been busy with my players and I've been busy with the, you know, obviously interviews straight afterwards. But yeah, you know, we're only going to be 3 points behind top, aren't we? I know the Hednesford have a game in hand, depending on how the results are going. And yeah, I know they say these things equal themselves out of a season, and I'm sure we'll look back in May and hopefully say that. But you know, when it does when it does happen to you, you know, it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But you know, you have to get on with it, and that's the way I'm going to look at today's game. That you know, it wasn't a true reflection. That's all I can say, because you know, when you play, any team plays for a full game with 10 men, well, it can't be a true reflection.
Thank you very much, Lee Sinnott. Understandably, exceptionally frustrated with the events this afternoon. Altrincham 1, Hednesford 3. Our next game is at the Horsefall Stadium at Bradford Park Avenue, a week on Monday on the 11th of November.